still believe he's a threat to democracy?
I think what he did was a genuine threat to democracy. My being the oldest president, I know more world leaders than any one of you ever met in your whole goddamn life.
So, Bill, just to reiterate there, President Biden calling former President Trump, President-elect Donald Trump, a genuine threat to democracy. And the question that was asked that produced that answer about him knowing more leaders than any of the reporters in their whole goddamn lives was about Trump as ending birthright citizenship. Biden called it an awful idea.
Well, guys, it looks like the joy has officially left the entire Democratic Party. It obviously left Kamala Harris and most of the Democrats 2 months ago. And it's funny because basically 2 months ago on this exact day, on this exact hour, the joy was gone. But now it seems like the joy is even gone from Joe Biden and his family, which is an interesting turn of events.
So I hope that you all feel that sense of, peace and light, and that just for a moment when you leave here today that you feel, a sense of joy. Because I think we all need we all need to feel joy now during this time of the season, during this time. So anyway, okay, now I'll start. You're all reading into that.
I think we can objectively all determine, and you'll see in today's video, that Joe Biden is very angry and very bitter right now. And you may be saying, Vince, what exactly makes you think that? Well, as you may remember, right after the 2024 election, Joe Biden seemed happier than ever, like he was gleeful that Trump won deep down, and we all know the reasons for that, right? Biden initially was bitter that he got couped out of office, not really happy about what happened to him, and so in response to that, remember, he was meeting with Trump in the White House, he was smiling, he was cordial, he was happy, but that's not where Joe Biden is here today.
Well, Mr. President-elect and former president, thank you. Donald, congratulations. Thank you. And looking forward to having like we said, smooth transition. Do everything we can to make sure you're accommodated, what you need. And we're going to get a chance to talk about some of that today. So
good.
Welcome
Thank you
back.
very much. And thank you very much. And politics is tough, and it's many cases not a very nice world, but it is a nice world today, and I appreciate it very much. A transition that's so smooth, it'll be as smooth as it can get, and I very much appreciate that, Jim.
You're welcome.
Right, so I'll show you why today that Joe Biden of 2 months ago is not the Joe Biden of now, and I'll give you almost a psychological explanation of what I think is going on in his rapidly cognitively declining head, although it's been cognitively declining for quite some time now, because you've heard the reports by now, right? Joe Biden apparently is so bitter right now in the White House. He is running around privately telling people that he would have won the election, right? If the Democrats just didn't coup him out, he was actually on track to defeat Trump, which is completely ridiculous. It is empirically not true. It's nonsense. Say what you will about Kamala Harris. She was a really bad candidate, but in many ways, she did stop at least some of the bleeding that was politically going to happen with Joe Biden staying in the race. And I mean that figuratively politically. Okay, let me be clear about that. But yeah, he was not on track to win that election. But again, Biden just clearly not happy right now. And I think the best example of it, if you don't believe me, if you don't believe he's bitter, watch this video right here for yourself. So this was from tonight where Joe Biden literally just has a meltdown in front of reporters, and it truly is a spectacle to behold. So folks, if you're enjoying the content, make sure you do us a big favor. Hit that like button down below and subscribe if you are new. You subscribing is the best way to ensure we can keep doing these videos. And with that said, again, Joe Biden back then a couple months ago, now here's the current state of Biden, literally cussing out and melting down in front of the reporters.
Do you still believe he's a threat to democracy?
I think what he did was a genuine threat to democracy. My being the oldest president, I know more world leaders than any one of you ever met in your whole goddamn life.
So, Bill, just to reiterate there, President Biden calling former President Trump, President-elect Donald Trump, a genuine threat to democracy. And the question that was asked that produced that answer about him knowing more leaders than any of the reporters in their whole goddamn lives was about Trump as ending birthright citizenship. Biden called it an awful idea.
I mean, I'm still trying to get the full context of that statement, but you know, the reporters are just asking him a question about, it would seem like, policy, and he's like, look, Jack, I've known more world leaders than you've ever known in your G-damn life. Which, make what you will, I don't even know what Joe Biden is necessarily trying to get at there, but what's very clear, very apparent is that he is angry. He is fed up. He does not want to be dealing with this stuff right now. And again, keep in mind the contrast here. So a couple months ago, he was telling Trump that he was going to do everything to make sure you have a smooth transition, and all of a sudden they were being nice to each other, and it was like, yeah, I mean, you know, this is American democracy in action. And now you have Joe Biden not just cussing at reporters because he's mad for some strange reason, but also going back to the original rhetoric, right? Talking extensively in this little moment right here about January 6th. According to The Hill, he is saying that Jan 6 reminds us that democracy is never guaranteed. And it's like Joe Biden is almost reverting back to his original form. Now, the story doesn't just end there because, again, a couple months ago, he was being nice to Trump. Now, even on the policy front, Biden has explicitly been trying to sabotage Trump on a number of different fronts. Notably, I think one of the biggest examples is the way he keeps authorizing more emergency money for Ukraine. And what is the significance of that? Because obviously Trump made the campaign promise that he was going to end that war on day one. And Joe Biden is saying, not so fast. I'm just going to send more emergency money to Zelensky so that way, haha, Trump, it will take you a couple more months to end that war. He also, on the way out, is trying to sabotage Trump's promise to bring down energy prices. Recently, he was trying to sign an executive order that would ban new oil drilling over the U.S. Atlantic and Pacific waters. So again, just to create another headache for Trump. And I think arguably the most crazy thing is that reportedly on the way out, his administration was considering airstriking Iran's nuclear facilities. In other words, literally just start a war, a major Middle East conflict on the way out and just leave Trump to deal with it. We're not making that up.
Make big decisions and help your successor move in. But Joe Biden has been up to a lot more. Reports say that he is discussing airstrikes on Iran's nuclear sites. It dates back to a meeting with Jake Sullivan, who is Biden's national security advisor. The meeting is said to have happened a few weeks ago. Sullivan presented Biden with options for a potential attack.
So as you can see, this is the current state of Joe Biden. He is angry, he is bitter, he is resentful basically against the world. And I don't think it's just a matter of protecting his political legacy, because trying to start war with Iran right before you leave office, there's no explanation for that other than like you just literally want to see it all burn. Okay, that's all that it is. So with that said, what is going on in Joe Biden's head right now? And why did he go from suddenly so happy when Trump won the election to now, obviously, as you saw even in that video, being completely bitter, angry, and resentful? Well, I think I've come up with the perfect analogy for it that sort of explains why Joe Biden did such a 180. And I would say to compare it to, it can be any sports team, but let's just say your favorite NFL team. And let's say they have like a perfect generational roster. You know, they have Tom Brady, they have Patrick Mahomes or something. And your favorite NFL team, let's say, is the defending Super Bowl champions. Okay, so you won it last year, aka the 2020 election. All your best players come back. You go on the next season. You're having a good season, right? Maybe not as good as the previous one, but you're doing okay. You're the number one seed going into the playoffs. You have a first round bye, all of that. And you're thinking to yourself, this is going to be our year yet again. And even better, guess who you are playing in that first round of the playoffs? Your bitter rival, right? The team you hate the most, your divisional rival or something like that. And this team you beat in the regular season, aka Kamala Harris back in the 2020 primary. There's no reason to believe that team even poses a threat. You think you got this, and then all of a sudden what happens in that first round of the playoffs when you are the number one seed, you're supposed to go win the Super Bowl again, you get upset, aka couped out of office. So all of a sudden, you're on the sidelines, your generational year, you thought it was going to be your year, all of a sudden, you're sitting out, you're not even making it to the Super Bowl. What are you thinking to yourself? Let me ask that question. Okay. So first of all, you're angry that you lost. You're angry that you got kicked out. However, the fact that your bitter rival is the one that could do it, the one silver lining in sitting back on the sidelines and watching the rest of the playoffs is that, well, if I'm not going to win it, I sure as heck hope my bitter rival, aka Kamala Harris, doesn't win it. Kamala Harris goes all the way to the Super Bowl, obviously, as you know, gets destroyed by Donald Trump. How do you feel in that moment? On that day, watching that Super Bowl, obviously you're happy, right? You're very happy that, at the very least, your bitter rival lost. You're laughing, you're kind of gloating about it. But then what happens when the dust settles? When everything is over, when the season is over, that little moment of happiness that your bitter rival lost, fades away. How do you feel, right? Sports fans, you know exactly this feeling. How do you look back on that season? You don't remember it as the year that Kamala Harris, your rival, lost in the Super Bowl. You remember that as the year that was supposed to be your year. That was your opportunity to do it. And you screwed it up, you squandered it, you got knocked out when you shouldn't have done it, and that's how you feel, right? I think that's exactly, maybe a weird analogy, but I think that's exactly how Joe Biden has been feeling lately. Again, right after the election, because he just saw his bitter rival, Kamala Harris, the person he really resents the most, obviously, get screwed over, right? She lost the election, ha ha ha, but now it's all fading away. That high has faded away. And all Joe Biden feels inside right now, as you can see, is bitter. He's angry. He's resentful. He's even telling that, right? He's telling that to his private people. He's literally saying, I would have won the election. I should have been there. That should have been me. That was my freaking year. And we screwed it up. That's the feeling, right? It is eating him alive inside. And that's why he's suddenly so freaking mad at not just Donald Trump, but at everyone right now. So with that said, though, guys, let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comment section down below. Why do you think Joe Biden is suddenly so joyless? Why do you think he lost the joy? Be sure to let me know. Leave a like on this video, subscribe if you are new, and until next time, God bless and peace.